Do you have a face for a dark room? Do people tell you you're ugly? Have you ever looked in the mirror and it cracked? Have you ever been to the zoo and people throw peanuts and food at you? Well, let me tell you what. Why don't you check out Mark's Wrestling Masks on Facebook? That's MARC''S. Mark's Wrestling Masks on Facebook, because that's who keeps our ugly mugs covered too. Welcome to the Shiz Show with your hosts, Vader from Wish and nwo-machine and nwo-cat.
Welcome to the Shiz Show.
Hello, all you shiz heads.
Yeah, shizzies out there. Going to be an interesting show today because Vader's taking the reins.
Well, you got to introduce him.
I will introduce him. Yeah, he's been a friend of mine for well over 20 years now. I don't want to say longer because that would age us. But he writes for the Wrestling Observer. He is UFC. He's AEW. He's WWE. He's NXT. He's everywhere.
Everything combat sports.
Yeah, he's everywhere. Welcome back, Paul Fontaine.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Yeah, we go back to Hulk Hogan and Yokozuna. That's how long ago
kidding.
We've been friends.
That's a long time back in a place called the Comedy Oasis.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
The Comedy Oasis. Those were good times, looking back and you think of the things that we were trying to do and trying to get certain places and do certain things. And looking back, it was a good time. And we had, not a lot of people would know this, but you and I had a mutual friend of ours pass away recently, and Daryl Lesage, which was too bad, but great guy. So that you and I kind of go all the way back to those days where Daryl was doing stand up, you were doing stand up, and I was doing stand up. So, but we all changed lives and moved on to different things, and we're here today to talk with a podcast on combat. So let's just start with the UFC. Vader is more of a UFC guy than I would be.
That's because you're too cheap to buy the pay-per-views.
This is also true. This is also true. Which reminds me, thanks for canceling my TV subscription.
Well, I changed internet.
I heard that. Yeah.
I changed cable providers. That's why.
Wouldn't give me the
piggybacking off my free cable.
I didn't think you saw the wire reaching all the way from one end of the city to the other.
I don't care.
It's all good.
I watched 3 channels. So.
Yeah. So let's get into the UFC. There was one recently.
Yeah, there was a show last night, UFC 299. So it seemed like it was a solid show. Like the prelims were decent. I'm a big fan of Macy Barber. I'm glad that she won. And then getting into the main card, like there are some awesome fights last night. It's cool to see your tweet again. I'm like, oh, hey, there's this tweet. So you're one of the guys whose tweets come up when the pay-per-view's on, which is kind of cool. So, but I really like the Poirier Saint Denis fight. Like I thought Saint Denis, he was piecing him up pretty good that first round, and I did not expect that KO that came like kind of last minute. How did you feel about that match?
Well, pretty much the same. Obviously Benoit got tired. I think in the first round he was already second wind, and then kind of came out after the fight that he actually had a staph infection. Oh, and I don't know if that played into what happened to him in the fight, but he probably shouldn't have fought.
No.
Poirier came back. I mean, he looked like he was about to get knocked out, and then he just hit him with I think it was a knee to the body, and then he just finished him with just some vicious shots on the ground. And I don't think Saint Denis ever been hit like that. No. And he just went down, and that was a great fight. There was some of the prelims. Michelle Pereira on the prelims looked just amazing. And then there was a guy who, if you didn't see this, go back and watch it. It's on Fight Pass. Okay. And there's a heavyweight by the name of Robles Despagny. He had come into the fight. He'd fought 4 times. His 4 fights, he won them all by knockout in a total combined time of about a minute. And he wins his first UFC fight in 18 seconds.
Oh, wow.
I think
I saw a highlight for that, but I didn't really. I'd never heard of him, so I was like, maybe I'll check it out.
6'7", he cuts to make 265. He's built like a brick. Can I say it?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, built like a brick shithouse. And he's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And think Francis Ngannou, but 10 years younger.
Well, speaking of him, he didn't do so well the other night either.
No, he did not.
Second round.
No, I didn't watch that fight, but I heard about it.
I just saw the highlight, and he got knocked out.
Yeah.
And when he knocked out Stipe, the way Stipe fell over his leg, that's exactly how he fell.
Yeah, he was outclassed. I mean, he fought Tyson Fury, and Fury, thought it was an exhibition sparring match and fought appropriately. And whereas Joshua fought like, hey, I want another shot at Fury.
Oh, for sure.
So,
he had everything to lose, really. Like
exactly.
If he didn't win that fight, because that would have pretty much been it for him if he lost to Ngannou.
Yeah.
So I like Ngannou, but I mean, I don't think that's going to damage him too much for his PFL.
No.
He's still going to make his money there and do what he does.
He'll probably get a fight with Deontay Wilder, I think, too, in boxing, because he makes a lot of money for these boxing fights.
Yeah, and I think Wilder's a little more his style. So
yeah,
That'd
exactly.
be a better fight for him. So.
I'm not a big boxing guy, but when you get these freak show fights, like you see, we're going to get Jake Paul and Mike Tyson.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
I was just going to pipe in on that one and say, what's the allure? Like, why does Tyson want to do this?
Well, I read that he brought him in because he brought his first fight. Paul's first fight was on the undercard when Tyson fought Roy Jones.
Okay.
So I think he kind of had a little hand in his career. And then they thought it's supposed to be an exhibition, but I can't see Tyson because him and Roy Jones are supposed to be an exhibition, and it didn't look like it. So, yeah.
But that's what I don't understand. Like, so you're saying this is an exhibition, right?
Yeah.
But an exhibition, like, how do you might as well just say it's a wrestling match?
Well, I think it's just less rounds, isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, what it is it's whatever they negotiate for rounds. Probably going to be 8 rounds, but the exhibition means they don't score it.
Oh, okay.
So, they just have a fight and there's no winner or loser. It just, unless somebody gets knocked out.
Right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I can't see, this is just me knowing Mike Tyson and his history.
He could still move.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
he's going to have probably 40 pounds on, because Jake Paul usually fights at, I think, 175.
Yeah.
So, Yeah. So, I mean, that's another reason why it won't be an official fight, because they're in completely different weight classes.
Yeah, because I think Tyson was 220 in his prime. So that's what he fought at. So.
And that's what I mean. Like, why do you want to, like, we're talking about Ric Flair, like, just go away already, right? Like, why would you ruin, like, to me, and we've said this, and the Flair legacy is getting worse and worse, right? You're starting to remember him for the worst things. Like, I remember Mike Tyson as just a powerhouse, basically killing people in the ring. Yeah. Right? Now, why would he want to come back to possibly get knocked out by this kid? Like, is it going to be...
I don't think this kid's going to knock him out. Like, he's...
No.
His fights have been a bit sketchy at best. Like, he's clearly athletic. I don't think if he was... He's calling out Canelo Alvarez, and I hope that happens. So he'll be introduced to real boxing. Like, the guys he's been fighting, well, he lost to Tommy Fury, who's probably... the most accomplished boxer, I think that, I mean, I guess Anderson Silva, but I mean, he's more MMA than, he's a good striker, but it's different. So
Paul and Fury, like that Fury, Tyson Fury's brother. I mean, he's not a world-class boxer at all.
Yeah.
No.
Let me ask you this question. You've been around this for a long time. Maybe both of you guys can step in on this. I'll just be the interviewer, the dummy. And what makes a good UFC fighter? And like, what do you look at? Let's say you're watching an undercard, Paul. What do you look for in these guys? And what would make you go, okay, you definitely got to watch out for this guy?
Well, somebody that is, either, very well-rounded in a number of different aspects, like the striking, the grappling, the submissions, the defense, somebody that's very good in all of those, or somebody that's just so good in one that, like he's going to get far just based on that. Mm-hmm. So when you see a guy like this, the guy I mentioned earlier, Robelis Despanier, I mean, number one, he's got a great look. Mm-hmm. He's got a great story. He was a medalist in the Olympics in Taekwondo. So, he's well-rounded, and he hits like a Mack truck. So, like he hit this guy, the guy that he beat, like it looked like he just barely clipped him, and the guy went down, and then he hit him with one more shot, and the ref stopped it right away, and you're like, wow, that was quick. Then when the guy gets up, and you look at his face, it looks like he was hit 400 times.
Oh yeah.
And he was hit twice.
Yeah.
So, like that's what I'm looking for. But then, on the opening fight of the main card, I think there was a, and Vader, you would have saw this, Peter Yan and Yadong Song.
Yadong.
And Song Yadong, he lost.
Yeah.
But that's a guy who I would keep an eye on.
Oh, yeah.
Because every time he fights, he gets better.
Yeah.
Even though he lost this time, his striking was great.
It was a close fight. I think Jan just squeaked it off. I actually thought Song did a little more, but I don't know. So.
The body work in the second round was the difference.
Yeah.
So he's going to go back to training camp.
So,
yeah.
Jan.
He's going to go. Yeah, Jan did. Yeah, but then he took over. But Sedong Jan is going to go back to his training camp. He's got Uriah Faber as his coach.
Yeah.
And Uriah Faber is going to coach him on, okay, this is what you do to avoid those body shots. And next time we see him, he's going to be a better fighter.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a guy you keep an eye on. And he's 26.
Yeah, and that camp is just a bunch of sharks, too. Like, he's going to be trained well, like those guys. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to take a wild stab at this.
Okay.
So I'm assuming the next UFC is 300 since this one was 299.
Yeah.
So I'm a newbie to UFC. I just never got into the UFC.
Yeah, it's because it's not drag queens hitting each other with purses. Number one fan.
That's AEW. That's Bear Sawatsky. That's his thing. And Bear listens to the show.
Rollins.
He'll be texting me as
Cheap
soon as he
heat.
hears this.
Machine with the cheap heat.
Going on. It said it's going to be major heat. But so new guy to UFC, number 300 coming up. I'm like all excited. Oh, 300 must be exciting.
Yeah.
Who do I watch and why?
Bo Nickel.
Okay. Now, who is this guy?
He's a wrestler. He's got a really solid wrestling pedigree coming up. Okay. He's picked up the striking well. He's transitioned well into MMA for wrestling.
He's transitioned?
Yeah. Well, again, you're not the way you want.
Well, I'm just asking because just 2 seconds ago, that's what we were talking about. I want to clarify these things for Bear. Okay, so he's come up from wrestling.
He came up from. He was on the Contender Series, I believe, didn't he? He won one of the weeks there, and he's really good. So.
Okay,
and he's finally getting a decent opponent in Brundage, so that should be good. I am though a little disappointed with for such an epic event of UFC 300. I think 299 was a little bit better card. I don't know. Maybe I'm.
Well, I think top to bottom 300 is probably a deeper card, but I think 300 what is lacking is that big main event.
Yeah.
And you had Sugar Sean O'Malley in the main event this past weekend, and that was O'Malley is a big star.
Yeah.
They did a $17 million gate, I think, which is the most that UFC show has ever done that wasn't headlined by Conor McGregor.
Oh wow.
So Sean O'Malley's a big star.
Yeah. And they had a storyline too with that. Like he got to finish the story.
They did, yeah. Because Vera beat him a few years ago when Sean O'Malley he got dropped foot basically and couldn't continue in the first round. Yeah. Yeah, so finishing the story, O'Malley, this is a fight he's wanted for years. Oh, yeah. Whereas, the main event, the main event of 300 is going to be a good fight.
Oh, it's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, Yuri Prochazka. Yeah. Yuri Prochazka is another one to keep an eye out on. He hasn't been doing this he's been doing MMA for a long time, but he's only been in UFC for a couple of years.
Right.
Another one you want to watch, probably, Jimmy, is a fight on I think it's going to be on the free portion, so it's not even on pay-per-view. And it's Kayla Harrison and Holly Holm.
I was just going to say that. I'm looking forward to that one too. So I like both of them. Like I really like Holly Holm. Yeah. And Kayla Harrison, just see how she does against the UFC talent would be kind of interesting, I think. She could go from PFL. So. Yeah.
Kayla Harrison is she's was it wrestling too, or is it it's judo, right?
I think judo.
Like Ronda Rousey. Yeah, so she's like Ronda Rousey except she's better. And bigger. And Holly Holmes, of course, a former multi-time world champion in boxing, who's also a former UFC champion. Yeah. And and this will be on the free portion of the undercard. So that's if you just don't want to pay, which that's you. This will be the big one.
As a matter of fact,
I'll turn my TSN on for. Well, I guess it'll be Sportsnet now.
As a matter of fact, when the free portion is done. I usually get in the vehicle, drive down to Higgins in Maine, and I get more free fighting.
Nice. Or you can go to Smitty's.
There you go.
Yeah.
You can buy one chicken wing and watch the main event.
Or you can go to Club Regent and watch it for free.
Oh,
yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, well, that's interesting. So that's good. So now we have people not finishing their story
we got
there.
UFC going on under the table.
Yeah, we
here.
got the UFC.
I just got a puppy, 9-month-old puppy, and I got a 9-year-old wiener dog. And the wiener dog's a girl, and the puppy's a boy, and he hasn't been fixed yet. So he's chasing the old MILF around, and she's not having it.
Yeah.
Oh, mercy.
She's more of a wilf.
Yeah.
A wiener, I'd like to. Yeah. That's according
to wiener, I'd like to.
Yeah. Let's not go there. Yeah. Let's stay away from that. So let's talk about finishing a story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Paul, can you do us a favor, and if and when, because I do believe Cody Rhodes is going to win, can he just go away then if his story's done?
I like Cody, man.
Well, thanks for participating in the show today. Goodbye.
No, I mean, but you bring up something very real. Like, once he wins, like, what do you do? Like, I think he's probably going to lose the title pretty quick.
Well, on I think it was our last show.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
we all thought that this is how I think it's going to play out. There's two scenarios, so I think it might play out. That it's going to be a swerve. So round 1, WrestleMania, Rock and Reigns will win, which means all the bloodline is in there.
Yeah.
Now Rock is either going to swerve this and take out Roman, so Cody pins him, or we're going to see, because Stone Cold's been putting out a lot of workout videos.
Oh.
Yeah.
But somebody said that he's going to win, and you're going to. Well, no, I was watching. I think it was on Twitter.
Yeah.
And they said, he finishes a story, and then all of a sudden the glass breaks.
Yeah. But I think the glass is going to break because don't forget, The Rock a couple promos ago said there is nobody in this company who can take me down.
Oh yeah.
And then and that's where I think Stone Cold comes out and takes out in day 2, by the way, WrestleMania in the that he takes out The Rock for Cody to win.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do think, because we've said this a couple times now, that where's Damian Priest in all this?
Well, he's got till WrestleMania to cash in.
And that's why I'm thinking.
No, he's got till Money in the Bank.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I think. So. This is his night.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for a quick transition to push into a brand new story, then you have Damian Priest come out and pin Cody Rhodes for the title.
Wow, that would be risky, but I mean, I could see it. I kind of thought he'd win, and then maybe he'd lose it to Gunther when they do that show in Berlin.
Oh yeah,
but
no. So okay, hang on now.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah, okay, I understand that, but I didn't want to get that far in advance because my next theory was that Gunther takes it off Priest, because lately we've been seeing Gunther get a little bit of cheers.
Yeah.
Oh right? yeah.
Oh, and he should. He's good.
He should. Yeah. And there's another, like, people complain. Well,
it's not like Chris Collinsworth. And here's a guy.
I said he's got what is Gunther really? Basically, he's just a chop fest. Mm-hmm. But when you get to his level, you don't need to do anymore.
No.
And he does that. That running drop kick, the 2-leg drop kick.
I call it the Calgary Stampede drop.
Oh, and his power bomb. Power bomb looks like he could kill a dude.
Yeah. So
and I'm glad he's not using the sleeper anymore, because I hate that. That shouldn't be.
And just watching him, like when he does the head between the knees twist.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's such old school stuff that's fantastic, and that's why I think he's becoming somewhat in a popular range, because
most people fans haven't seen that old school stuff. They're just used to high spot, thigh slap, high spot.
So that's my roundabout to get that title on Gunther.
Yeah,
that's how I think, because he can't defeat the entire bloodline to get it, but he can certainly beat a Damian Priest to get it.
Yeah, but I wonder if they'll give it to him in Berlin, because they like to not really, they had what's his face there, Drew McIntyre. Yeah, should have won it in his hometown, or his country, and they didn't.
Rhea Ripley retained in her country.
Yeah.
So
they're getting better with that.
Yeah,
they're getting better. And I think Gunther's probably going to lose the IC title at Mania.
You do?
Would be my guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's time.
Yeah.
I mean, he could certainly keep it, but he's got the record. He's had it for well over a year. So. It depends on who wins that match on Monday, I guess.
Keep it on Gunther. At least he least he wrestles, not like that sock monkey who just comes around when he feels like it, and then he has 15 people help him. And we've had to stick with his ass for 3.5 years.
I think WWE the last few weeks. In that Intercontinental match, is Chad Gable in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I have a feeling he's probably gonna get a chance. So
it's either gonna be him or Sami Zayn, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure. Lately, I've been watching. I don't think Sammy's getting the pop he used to.
No.
And I don't understand why. Maybe it's because he's not Usi anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's not a lot of comedy.
I think his character's taking a little fork in the road.
Yeah,
it's going to the dump.
He also loses a lot. Loses a lot, and it's hard to get behind a guy that loses a lot.
Right.
So
yeah. But I like Sammy. I liked him when he was. I always thought the conspiracy.
Yeah.
Like, to me, he was a good character. He was a good heel. And then obviously, like, when they let him do a little bit of comedy now, I like that when he was with the Bloodline, right? Mm. So now now you've taken Jay away from him, and where do you leave him? Yeah. Like, it's kind of left him in a lurch a little bit. But if they do push the strap on him, I'd be happy to see that, especially if they're coming through Canada again.
Yeah,
right. Because
which I think there's a show, the Raw 1 week after Mania is in Montreal.
Oh, cool.
So
and there is now. Now, hang on. Is Money in the Bank in Toronto?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there you go. So you got a lot coming up in Toronto where they're, and that is, I think it's a Friday night SmackDown. Yeah. Then you have the
Saturday will be the
Saturday. You have an NXT. You have an NXT on Sunday, I think.
Yeah. NXT is Sunday, and then Monday I think they have a Raw. So I mean, they have 4 or 5 days of wrestling. So it would make sense to push Sammy a little bit there. Even Kevin Owens.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, what are you thinking of? Are you happy? I'm going to sort of push right off. But we mentioned Drew McIntyre. What do you think they want to do with McIntyre? Because I never seem to know. Is he good? Is he bad? Like, he's another one of those guys that seem to be in the middle.
I think he's clearly bad now. Like the CM Punk stuff. I mean, he's on another level. I know you hate that expression, but he's taken his career. I won't say he's on another level from everyone else, but he's taken his own career to another level as just the massive troll with CM Punk, and like with that when he did that promo where he said, "I prayed that you would get hurt."
Yeah,
and then when he said, "Oh, I had a busted up eardrum in my match at Elimination Chamber," and the doctor said, "You're not going to make Mania." And he says, "What do you think I am, CM Punk? Of course I'll make Mania." Like, he's just great. I think he wins the title from Seth on at Mania, and maybe even with some help from the Bloodline. And then we'll see what happens with him. But I mean, I think clearly the feud is CM Punk when he comes back. So McIntyre will keep that belt, at least until CM Punk comes back.
Yeah,
and then we'll see what happens then.
Are you happy that CM Punk signed with WWE?
Yeah. No, I mean, I have my history with CM Punk.
I know. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah. No, but I'm, like I love the guy's work. Yeah. He's an asshole. Like the Phil Brooks is an asshole, but CM Punk is great. Like I love him on screen, but the guy that plays him, just an asshole. He's another Bill Maher. Going back to our comedy days.
I'm not an asshole. I just play one on TV.
What a prick that dude was.
Yeah, there's been a few that I've run into. I won't mention who they were, but I mean, there's been a couple.
I just did. I'm not asking you to confirm or deny. He treated Daryl and I like shit. But that's a whole other story for another day.
You know who wasn't a jerk whatsoever? Well, there was a couple that I could say that.
Rosie was nice.
Was she?
Yeah.
Never really. I never worked with her. Never like.
Oh, okay.
No, I never worked with her. But Brad Garrett was. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know what? I almost got into a fight with him at Grapes on Main.
Come on.
His entourage. I was bouncing at the Greenbrier at the time.
Yeah.
And we were there because it's Sunday night, so it's hospitality night. So our bar was closed, so we go to Grapes on Main and drink. And he came there after a show, and there's some little lippy dude in his entourage that kept bumping into me and one of the other guys. So we were giving this guy crap, and then he stepped in and he tried to be like a tough guy, and we just laughed at him. I told him, I says, whatever, like, let's go, and he wouldn't fight, but I tried.
So. Yeah, he wasn't a fighter.
No, he thought he was for about 2 minutes, and then
I think his size is intimidating, but like, why would he mess with Vader? Like, your size is intimidating, right? Like, it's.
But I like his stuff. I was just
like 6'8".
Yeah, I'm a 6'9" Jew. That's what he'd always say. That's what he'd always say on stage. I'm a 6'9" Jew. Yeah,
that's a good impression. Jimmy Walker was nice.
Yeah, Jimmy Walker was actually really nice.
Was he dynamite?
His show. I don't think his show was dynamite. But he was you know what? Sometimes here's another weird thing. Like there's guys who are super funny off stage, right? And then you get them on stage and you go, okay, this is not funny. And to me, that was Jimmy Walker.
Oh.
Like Jimmy Walker behind the scenes and just chatting is hysterical. Brad Garrett on stage, off stage, hysterical. Howie Mandel, like you can't even. You gotta tell him time out, or you gotta leave the room to catch your breath because he's funny on and off stage. But yeah, and the other one do you remember Ross Schaefer? I don't know how he got back on comedy. He was the host of Match Game for a little while.
Okay, I know the name, but
and I thought, well, this guy to me wasn't that funny on Match Game. You don't really look at the host as a stand-up comic, so to speak, right? And you know what? He was on stage. He just didn't want his show to end. Very funny guy, Ross Schaefer, and of course, I don't know if you got a chance with Steve Harvey whatsoever, Paul, but
no.
Steve Harvey, to this day, I don't recall working at Rumors at any point in time that I was ever working on stage there to see a headliner get a standing ovation every night.
Oh wow!
And it wasn't just because they were standing up to leave. Like it wasn't thank you, good night, and they all got up. He just literally was that funny. And Steve Harvey off stage was just a normal, just yakking like we are. But once he got on stage and the lights hit him, he's all over it, right?
I don't know how many times like he's made me like cry laughing watching Family Feud. Like he just comes out with these lines. My favorite guy ever, and was, I don't know if you remember him, Jimmy. He was at the Comedy Oasis. Was Jimmy Wiggins?
I was just going to mention him.
He was a writer for George Carlin, but for him it was all offstage. Like he had us. We were drinking together at the downstairs at the Limelight, like all night, and just cracking us up and telling us stories about George Carlin and other people he'd worked with, and just my favorite dude I ever met.
Yeah. He's passed away.
Besides you, of course.
He's passed on.
He has, a few years ago.
Like, as a matter of fact, do you remember what he drank?
Oh, it was probably like a triple.
Let me play the Jeopardy music. Yeah, Jimmy Wiggins, the oldest hippie in America is what he billed himself at.
Yep.
And you're bringing back memories now. He always wanted gold tequila.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Always gold tequila. Yeah. And that's what.
And he did last comic standing too. 1 year.
Yeah, that's right. He did. Yeah, and he was very funny there too. He was funny. He wore. Now you're making me think back, because I'd always pick the guys up and take them here and there, right? And and he's in my car one day, and I look over at his wrist and his watch. There's nothing in it. Like it was just.
Wow.
I don't know if
it was just a case.
It was just a case, just a blank case. And I said, Jimmy, what happened to your watch? Like I thought maybe he broke it and didn't realize it, right? Yeah. And he goes, oh well, that's the way I wear it. And I was like, why is that? He goes, well, I'm never late. like he's just
such a great.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like you had no, well, he wasn't trying to be funny. He goes, never late. I can't be late. And he really wasn't. I don't know how he ever did it, but he always knew, right? And
the sun.
Yeah, something like that. But even on stage, like it's comics have this little secret thing called a red light. And depending on where a club will have it, or they'll flash you in the back or whatever to get off stage. And I remember Jack Salvaggio, the owner of the Oasis at the time, he goes, I don't know how he does it. He knows exactly where he is at all times. And he says, I never have to give him the light. And
wow.
He would just know when, that's my time. Like
the last time I ever performed at Rumors, I got the light and I was having the set of my life. So I just kept going. And as I said, it was the last time I ever performed at Rumors.
Yeah. There, I'll teach you here's another funny trick. And this was not Jimmy Wiggins. This was a guy named Mark Moran.
Oh, I remember him. That's the Daffy, the Donald Duck guy, right?
That I don't remember.
Okay. Okay.
No, I don't. I'm not sure if Mark Moran did the Daffy Duck thing, but he always. I remember saying to him, I said, you know what? I don't understand this. Like, you are exact to whatever. If you told Mark 31 minutes be off, it was 31 minutes exactly.
Wow.
And so he said to me, he goes, do you have a Radio Shack here in the city? And I'm like, yeah, we got a Radio Shack. He said, well, I'll take you there tomorrow. So we go to Radio Shack, and it was a little timer. It was like a pager.
Oh, okay.
And you set it. All it did was countdowns. That's it. And
like
once
an egg timer.
Yeah. Once it hit 0, it would vibrate. Huh. So he would set it for like 30 minutes, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Zzz, finish his last bit. Thank you. Good night. Like he was.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Whatever he set it at. I mean, so I ended up buying one too, and because if you're opening or emceeing or middling, you don't want to go over time for your headliner.
No. Right? Why are you exposing the business like this? Come on, Richie.
Well, it's exactly.
Just broke kayfabe of comedy.
I'm just showing you how to do working punches in comedy here. So, and that's what we do. I had this little timer, and then that was the best part because as soon as it buzzed, and I would always have it set. Paul, you remember the costumes and voices I did at the end. So I would always have my timer set to buzz me when it was time to get into that routine because I knew that was exactly like 10 minutes long, that ending. So I would always have it set for like, 16 minutes and then the last 10 minutes do that. But so that was, thanks for walking me down memory lane.
When I think of Mr. Perfect, my penis gets erect. Was that you doing the genius?
No. I think it was something you and Daryl might have talked about on stage in the back room one day.
This was doing a bit where you're imitating the genius, and you're doing one of the genius's poems.
No,
I swear. Okay, it wasn't you. Okay, it was somebody else then.
No, but
too bad. That's funny.
But thanks to that bit you just threw out, I'm going to have to change the YouTube setting to not for children. More work for Jimmy.
I'm sorry.
But listen, what?
We were talking about AEW earlier. Ref Aubrey blocked me on Twitter.
Well,
wow!
I don't think I've ever posted. Maybe she listens to the show. So I don't think I've ever made a bad post about her. So.
Well, I'm assuming she has to like. It might have been an accident. I mean, one of her hoofs might have hit block by accident. But hey, no, seriously, that's what she eats.
I'm not checking now to see if she's got me blocked.
Well, she will after this.
Nope, not yet.
Oh man, same thing. Like when I had the Twitter account, I think I tweeted the fact that it was the best day of my life.
Yeah,
because she blocked me, right? Yeah. But I don't know. I don't ever understand. And the same thing, Copeland. I was the one promoting Copeland, and I was sticking up for him, going, "Why are you making him? Why do you care if he dyes his beard or not? We all know he's 48. Yeah, right. Like to go from gray to colored the next day is ridiculous. Yeah." But and then I was blocked. I'm like, wait a minute, I was just saying he was.
Maybe I'll check all the AEW people I was following. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just company wide.
Yeah.
Well, the only one that ever blocked me was Shivani.
Block them all.
What? Shivani blocked you?
Yeah, because I one of my articles on Wrestling Observer, and it was on MMA, and then I said one of the announcers in his very best Tony Schiavone impersonation said, "This is the best night in the history of our sport." And somehow, he blocked me because of that. Huh. Well, he and I have mutual friends, and so I asked the mutual friend, why did Tony Schiavone block me? And apparently, what he does is he vanity searches anyone that mentions his name in a way that he feels is negative. He blocks them. Huh. So
nothing better to do.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I think Schiavone's great. So I don't know. He unblocked me now, like the mutual friend told him, and so. But weird. But small world. Yeah. But AEW, they're coming to Winnipeg in May 1st. Hopefully I'll be covering it for Wrestling Observer and I'll get free seats. So.
Well, if you have an extra seat, look up Bear Sawatsky.
Okay.
Yeah, not me, but
and then I'll be going, and then I'm going to Double or Nothing in May for sure. So in Vegas. Oh yeah, every year.
I got to say though, I think AEW is getting better. Like at first, I really liked it because it was a fresh alternative to what WWE was doing, and then they kind of got away from it. And now the last couple times I watched, with the exception of the refs overselling, I don't know. I think it's kind of going back to when it started, and it's almost watchable again.
So hang on 1 second.
Uh-oh.
Hang on 1 second. Listen, we're gonna wrap this up right now.
Yeah.
We're gonna wrap this up right now, and we're gonna come back, and I'm gonna say in the next couple days, we are gonna put out part 2 of this interview.
Okay.
All right. So, Paul.
Yes.
Don't hang up. We're going to wrap up this show right now because it's easier editing for me because Vader is long-winded today.
I've asked you how to teach me to edit. You won't.
You're leaving now.
Well, I'm going away for 2 weeks.
So who's going to have to edit?
Well, I won't even be here unless I'm doing it. Am I calling in from the cruise ship?
Well, why can't you?
I don't think I have international minutes.
There's always a minute. Anyway, Paul Fontaine for Wrestling Observer.
Yes.
Check him out. Paul, what's your handle on Twitter?
At Paul Ace Fontaine.
Paul Ace Fontaine. Until next time.
Keep kicking out.